I'm Sarah K. Bierle with the American Battlefield Trust, and today I am in Redlands, California. And Maria, Special Collections Manager at Lincoln Memorial Shrine, is joining me. This is the museum west of the Mississippi River to come see Lincoln things, Civil War things. Why is there a Lincoln Memorial here in Redlands?
It is a very unique place. The Lincoln Memorial Shrine was actually donated to the city of Redlands by Robert and Alma Watchorn in memory of their son. Their son Ewart was a World War I veteran, died at a very young age, and he always admired Abraham Lincoln. So it was after his death that his parents did several things to honor his memory, one of which was donating this museum to the community here in Redlands. And so since then, it was originally a Lincoln Library, and it grew to become this museum where we interpret Lincoln, the Civil War, the antebellum period, just life during that era. So it's something that's very special, but it is unique as well. As you said, there were no battles here. Lincoln never came to California, but we have collected so much over the decades. It's been here since 1932. And one of the things that's really special about what we do here is that it is open to the public. You don't have to have any special credentials or anything. You could just be someone who's interested in that era, or someone who's more academic and looking to do like a paper or dissertation or something like that as well.
Right, and this was actually the place that I came to learn to do research. Growing up in California, my late high school, college years,
Yes.
I was here, and Maria and your wonderful staff were teaching me how to do archive research and how to put in call slips and what not to do with books and special materials and things like that. So let's just talk about the outside of the building here for a second, because I'm seeing etchings of famous quotes from Lincoln's speeches. What's the significance that we're seeing in the outside architecture here of the building?
And that's a really good observation as well. Of course, we have on all sides of the building, we have etchings that are portions of speeches or letters that Lincoln wrote that are a significant part of his legacy. And that was something that was a really interesting design element that the architect used to have Lincoln be a part of the entire building, inside and out. So it's something that's very special. The museum was originally just the one room here in the center, this what we call our octagon. It's obviously an 8-sided room. But when it was expanded in the 1990s to have the two wings on either side, they made sure to keep those same elements on the new parts of the building as well.
Wonderful. Well, let's go inside. We're going to take a look at the interior of the Octagon room, see some exhibits that are on display, and maybe even get a sneak peek at one that is under construction. So now we've come in the main room of the Lincoln Memorial Shrine. We're walking up in, we see this wonderful bust of the 16th president. And Maria, I think there's some significance with the shrine and this piece of art. Can you share that with us?
There is. So this is a Carrara marble bust of Lincoln by the sculptor George Gray Barnard, and it is the reason that the museum is here. Robert and Alma Watchorn owned this piece and wanted to donate it to the people of Redlands because they felt that Lincoln was a very inspirational figure. And so in order to do that, they actually had this whole building constructed. So it was originally just this one room, this octagon, built during the Depression in 1932. Opened on Lincoln's birthday of that year, built the year before, and you can see they had these beautiful murals painted on the ceilings. These were done by an illustrator who turned muralist named Dean Cornwell. In addition to the murals, the Watchorns also commissioned two busts, additional busts for the museum. So here we have a bust of Ulysses S. Grant, wow, made by the Italian sculptor Cartino S. Paolo. And you can see Grant is looking towards the bust of Lincoln. And on the opposite side over here, we have a bust of Robert E. Lee.
We're getting there. Give us just a second.
Oh,
We're
sure,
going to see Grant looking over at Lincoln. Hopefully not give anyone too much whiplash.
Of course,
too fast of a film. But over here on the other side of the door,
we have a bust of Robert E. Lee doing the same thing.
Wow.
So both of these are meant to be looking at Lincoln in a sign of reconciliation.
Absolutely. And The museum, the shrine here, has continued to build collections of art, of research materials. Can you give us a little glimpse of that as we start to kind of look around?
Absolutely.
And we see books stashed here. You can spot some books back behind the desk. And as we walk through, you may glimpse more of this wonderful collection.
So the books are a really good point to start that conversation, because this originally started as a Lincoln library. So it was not intended to be a museum, but rather a place to see the bust of Lincoln that the Watchorns donated, and come in and read books about Lincoln and his life, and be inspired by him and his story. And over time, donations of objects from the Civil War and from Lincoln's life began to come into the museum. And so from that period on, slowly over time, there was an evolution from a library into a museum, the museum that we have today. So we are in a different gallery right now. So I mentioned that the original building was just the octagon, the center room that we were just in. And in the 1990s, there was a fundraising campaign by the trustees of the Watchorn Lincoln Memorial Association. They're the ones charged with managing the endowment that the Watchorns started for the museum. And it was a multi-year process, but they were able to fundraise to add 2 galleries to the building, which made it a more dynamic space and more of a place where we can have a more formal museum the way that we would imagine it today. It was absolutely necessary. We had outgrown our space by that period of time. Obviously, Lincoln, the Civil War are not topics that people are stopped writing about.
Right.
Probably one of the most popular topics that people write about even today. And so it allowed us to have more space, not only for our books, which are part of our research center, which is called the Heritage Room, but also to have these displays of the wonderful materials that people have given us over time, and that we've been able to acquire as well.
As we look around, we're seeing some of the weaponry here that was used during the Civil War era. We've seen some uniforms behind Maria as she was sharing about us. I'm gonna swing around here and take a look at this quilt that is on display. There's so many unique artifacts in here telling so many different stories of the Civil War. I see a medical display there in the back, and it's just really special that here in Southern California, there's this collection, there's this museum that's telling these pieces of history that are so associated with the East Coast, but there's a wonderful collection here.
Yes.
What is your favorite piece in the collection, even if we're not able to see it today?
My favorite piece in the collection is actually a quilt that was on display here, but has recently been changed. But it is a sanitary commission quilt that was made in 1864 by the Patriotic Ladies of Vernon, Connecticut, and it has this wonderful story that is connected to this community. The quilt was made for the Sanitary Commission by this Ladies Association. It was sent to the Sanitary Commission, but what's really special about the quilt is that it was made by the teenage girls of the community at the time.
Wow.
And each one made her own block and signed her name or a message in the center. And when the quilt was completed, they had a letter written. One of the girls wrote a letter. It was included with the quilt. And the soldier who received it was named Robert Fisk. He was in North Carolina, but he was originally from New York. He received this quilt, found this letter, wrote back to her.
Oh, wow.
But she was only 16, much too young to correspond with this adult man. So it was decided that her older sister Elizabeth would write to him. They corresponded, married after the war.
Wow.
They moved west and spent much of their lives in Helena, Montana. They were one of the families that established that community and really helped it develop and grow. And eventually their family moved to Northern California. One of their daughters inherited the quilt. Her name was Florence, married a man named Clarence White. They moved here to Redlands, and that is how that quilt arrived here in this community. It was their daughter who donated it to the Lincoln Shrine for the museum's 50th anniversary in 1982.
Wow, that's amazing. And correct me if I'm wrong, Maria, but didn't California send the most money to support the Sanitary Commission? So it's like perfect that your favorite artifact is even connected to a wonderful trivia piece of Civil War California history.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's one of the really interesting parts of California and its involvement in the Civil War. Because of course there were no battles here. Abraham Lincoln never came to California, but the people of California were, of course, incredibly patriotic, and they did, as you said, support the Sanitary Commission more than any other state. So that's something that's very interesting to kind of consider as well.
Right, and then also just thinking about how many veterans, Union and Confederate, came into the Southern California area, whether it was for opportunity, agriculture, business. I've read some accounts of men coming for health. You know, they've been sick or wounded in the war, and they're hoping that the dry, always sunny climates of Southern California are going to help with their recovery or just the quality of their life.
You're absolutely right. One interesting story we have from a family from this community is that their ancestor came to California. He was a Civil War veteran, came to California to escape a fraud charge in his home state of Massachusetts, came to California, changed his name, and became one of the founding individuals who was important in the development of Santa Monica, the city of Santa Monica here. So there are really interesting stories that we can learn about Civil War veterans, of course, and the development of the state.
Wonderful. And as we've come back into the main room here, I'd like to wrap up our look at some of the artifacts here. Before we started the video, you were pointing out the President's Emancipation March. I think the story of this just really ties together what's happening here at this site. So do you want to share what we're seeing? I'm going to get up close to it and then I'll pan back and show you talking about it. But what are we seeing here?
Absolutely. So we have a sponsorship fund. So each year for Lincoln's birthday, we have the Watch for Lincoln dinner. It's been happening since 1932, and we have a sponsorship that's associated with it that people donate each year to help us purchase something that related to Abraham Lincoln. So in 2019 and 2020, the donations to that fund allowed us to purchase the letter that you see here in the center. And it is a letter from Abraham Lincoln to the composer George Fawcett, thanking him for writing the President's Emancipation March. Of course, this was in 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation had just been signed and gone into effect. And so Fawcett wrote this music for Lincoln, and Lincoln thanked him for it. And a couple of years ago, we were able to have a local musician actually play the music so we could hear what it sounded like and hear what Lincoln heard when he heard this song for the first time. So it's very special. Obviously, the Emancipation March is not a song that's still in use today or still played today. So it's really special to be able to hear it in this way.
That's amazing. And you can hear it on the website
for
the Lincoln Shrine, correct?
Yes. So we do have a collections tab on our website where you can see the different donations that have been given for the sponsorship fund. And this is one of them, and the music is associated there. So make sure to go and check it out because it's really interesting.
Wonderful. What a great way to wrap up. I'm going to go ahead and bring our eyes virtually back up to the wonderful paintings here showing the visuals of attributes of Abraham Lincoln, that small mural depicting the saving of the Union, panning around a little bit more again to the one symbolizing emancipation, and then coming in nice and up close here on this wonderful statue, and behind it, the words etched of the Gettysburg Address. So we have got some special access into the new gallery exhibit that is being put together. You can see some construction materials, ladders behind me. We're coming around and meeting Nathan. What are we seeing? What can you give us a preview of this new exhibit?
We're putting in an entirely new exhibition that looks at enslavement in the United States. So actually we have some documents that go to the colonial period, and then we'll go all the way through the 1860s, and then look at some of the after effects of enslavement into the 20th century. But we've got a really cool series of things that we're gonna share with you as a special sneak peek. So one of the items that we were able to acquire a few years ago is this reward poster that was printed. There were two enslaved people who chose to self-emancipate from their owners, and this reward poster is trying to get them back.
Wow.
I thought it was interesting because of the illustration and the amount of money that was offered as the reward.
Right, and it's Buchanan County, Missouri. Is that what I'm seeing there?
Exactly.
1859. So even just a few weeks there before John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry.
Yeah, and of course,
tying it into some of those national events.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another very cool piece that we were able to acquire last year. And after the California legislature approved or ratified the 13th Amendment, this special commemorative piece was created with the signatures in both houses of the legislature of those who approved the 13th Amendment, and then of course boldly showing also those who did not. And what's fascinating is that this particular copy was owned by a member of the California Assembly, and his signature is on the reverse as well.
Wow. And so just to point out, we'll see if I can get my hand here in the shot, we have the ayes that Nathan was showing us, so that's everyone that's voting for it. And then down here are the nays, forever inscribed.
A very small minority of the California legislature.
For sure. Wow, thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, and thanks for giving us a glimpse behind the scenes into the construction area.
Absolutely. I hope people have the opportunity to come and see the finished exhibition.
Yes, it will definitely be worth checking out. Thanks so much. So we've returned outside, and you might see behind us the etching of one of the famous quotes from Lincoln's second inaugural address. And we want to encourage you, whether you live in Southern California, whether you're visiting the area, come visit this site. See how Lincoln is remembered here in Southern California, a long way from the places where he grew up, where he was involved in our nation's political scene, and where he helped to preserve the Union and end slavery. Maria, if people are looking to get more information about this site or visit, where should they go?
Always go to the website, so www.lincolnshrine.org. We always update our information there for the different events that we have throughout the year, exhibits that we have ongoing or that are changing. So that's the best place to go. But we really hope that you all get an opportunity at some point to come visit us here. It is a really special place in Southern California, and we hope to see you. Please come by and say hi when you do come and see us.
Thanks so much, Maria, for doing this video. It's wonderful to be here.
It's so good to see you again, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to our viewers for what you do to support preservation and history education.
Hello, this is Trace Atkins. Get inspired at battlefields.org.